A very good morning to everyone, and thank you for tuning in to the Bulletin this Sunday, the 1st of February 2026. You are listening to the club station of the Sandton Amateur Radio Club ZS6STN, which is operated today from the shack of Stuart, ZR1 Whiskey Tango in George, Western Cape. It's a beautiful, clear blue sky here in George with a temperature of about 24 degrees C and 24 in the shack as well. Once again, a warm welcome to everyone on frequency. This club bulletin is broadcast every Sunday at 8:45 a.m. local time on the following frequencies: 145.700 megahertz FM in the 2-meter band, 7.115 megahertz lower sideband in the 40-meter band, today via relay from back of Null ZR6 Delta X-ray, and Echolink ZS6STN L All-Star nodes and various repeaters linked via All-Star. This bulletin is being recorded and will be uploaded to the Sandton Amateur Radio Club ZS6STN's YouTube page. In the bulletin today, we start with the SARL general news, followed by club birthdays and club news, the special topic of interest, and finally general call-ins and swap shop on 40 meters Echolink and 2 meters. We start with the South African Radio League news for Sunday the 1st of February 2026. Good morning and welcome to the weekly news bulletin of the South African Radio League, read by Stuart, ZR1 WT. In the news today, the AWA-CW contest, a statement from IARU Region 1, and the 2026 SARL National Convention. Stay tuned for more information on these and other interesting news items. We begin this bulletin with the news of a silent key. It is with deep regret that the Bulletin Amateur Radio Club announces Gerard Vernickel ZS1PG passed away peacefully on Wednesday the 28th of January. Gerard had been experiencing health challenges for the past few months. We extend our sincere condolences to his wife Petra and family at this time of great loss. You are listening to a news bulletin of the South African Radio League. The AWA-CW contest today, Antique Wireless Association CW Activity Day today, Sunday the 1st of February. Are you ready to ride the propagation with a key in hand and make some Morse code contacts? The goal of CW Activity Day is to contact as many amateurs as possible on the 20, 40 and 80 meter bands. Check out page 65 of the 2026 Blue Book Contest Manual for all the details. The February 2026 Radio ZS. The editor uploaded the February 2026 issue of Radio ZS to mysarl.org.za website on Friday the 30th of January. We ask if your club is an active club. Where are the young people? And we look at club leadership. Derek ZS5Y says you must not miss the magic above HF. And Johan ZS6JPL explains how to use a repeater. We delve into NFED half-5 80 to 10 meter myth, the great double bazooka antenna debate, the helium balloon deflation mystery, and spectrum analyzers. There's an introduction to THZ, optical in brackets, communications. A look at a short history of spy radios in World War II, and Q codes. John VA3KOT asks, this is still a hobby, isn't it? And discusses what really determines the efficiency of an antenna. Get your slingshot or catapult ready to deploy antennas for HF, and more in this 96-page issue. Unfortunately, no club provided any photos for this issue. Let us hold thumbs for March. A statement from the IARU Region 1. Region 1 of the International Amateur Radio Union, IARU, has issued clarification following reports of the prosecution of amateur radio operators in Belarus. In the statement, Region 1 stresses that amateur radio is a technical, educational, and service-oriented hobby defined internationally. It emphasizes that while the individuals involved hold amateur licenses, the actions leading to their prosecution fall entirely outside the scope of amateur radio service. The clarification notes that an amateur radio license does not grant immunity from national laws and does not authorize use of equipment for activities that contravene the legal framework or sovereign state. Adding, we believe the public narrative surrounding this case has been somewhat misplaced. Region 1 further states that it does not condone or support any actions by licensed operators that bypass legal requirements or violate the terms of their amateur license, and that the situation is a matter for the judicial system. You are listening to a news bulletin of the South African Radio League. The 2026 SARL National Convention will be held at the Willows Resort and Conference Centre just south of Port Elizabeth over the weekend of the 1st to the 3rd of May 2026. The DE Amateur Radio Society PAIRS is our host for the event. PAIRS has planned to welcome a function for the Friday evening 1st of May at the Lapa at the Willows. The AGM will take place on Saturday morning 2nd of May in the Conference Centre at the Willows, and the awards dinner will be held on Saturday evening in the same venue. There is a partners program, of course. The YL, SOTA, POTA, HOTA, IOTA, CWers, VHFers, etc. are welcome to arrange a get-together to chat, exchange ideas and QSL cards, and just enjoy themselves. There are various accommodation options to choose from: chalets, cottages, rondavels, bungalows, and caravanning and camping. Visit the website https://thewillowspe.co.za for all the information. The National Convention takes place over a long weekend, so book early. You can arrange at Pine Lodge at pinelodge.co.za, about 9 kilometers from the Willows. What about a club effort? Chat with guys and girls at your club and make it a road trip and attend as a club effort. Share the costs. The best represented club at the convention, excluding the host, will win club affiliation for 2025/26. The hosts will also win something. Right, club news. At the annual general meeting of the Hibiscus Coast Amateur Radio Club on Sunday the 25th of January 2026, a new committee was chosen as follows. Chairman and SOTA Matters, Sydney Taylor, ZS5AYC. Vice Chairman, Martin Bloomer, ZS5 MRB. Treasurer is Tim Larson, ZS5 Tim. Secretary is Harvey Hoon, ZS5R. Public Relations Officer is Louise Larson, ZS5 BSR. And Contest Coordinator is Jury Fenter, ZS5 ZG. The outgoing members were thanked for their contributions towards the club, and the new ones wished the best for the ensuing year. Last Wednesday evening, on the 28th of January, we kicked off the very first Power Hour Tech Talk of 2026, hosted by none other than Dick, ZS6BUM, and what a start to the year it was. Dick took us on an entertaining and insightful journey through D-Star, the digital mode built into many ICOM radios, and a fantastic option for operators battling high noise levels. He even opened the door to the world of cross-mode reflectors, showing how D-Star can be transposed into DMR, allowing D-Star and DMR users to chat seamlessly across modes. If you missed it, Do not worry, the full session is waiting for you at youtube.com/@ZS6STN. And now you know what we are thinking. What's next? Well, here's your teaser. The next Power Hour Tech Talk is coming up on Wednesday, the 25th of February, 1900 hours Central African time. And you're going to want this one in your diary. We will be diving into the world of contesting and logging, guided by a special guest, Philip, ZS6FY. Philip will unpack practical contesting techniques and explore powerful logging tools, including N1MM, the go-to logging software for serious contesters. Whether you're a seasoned operator or just curious about sharpening your contesting skills, this is a session you don't want to miss. The Power Hour Tech Talks are open to everyone, so spread the word, mark your calendars, and make sure you join Philip on Wednesday the 25th at 1900 hours for another hour of radio-inspired learning and fun. Contest news. The first leg of the 2026 QRP contest series, the SARL Summer QRP contest held on Saturday the 17th of January, was officially wrapped up, and what an adventure it was. For 2 hours, operators across the country took to the airwaves for a fast-paced session of experimentation, skill, and pure QRP fun. And you were brilliant. From the 26 logbooks submitted, we pulled some impressive stats across the contest window. 757 QSOs were logged. DWH pushed QRP power to its limits with a remarkable 1,479 kilometer contact, the longest of the leg. And Wayne, ZS6ORB, topped the activity charts with 27 QSOs, the highest count of the day. Now tune those dials and listen closely, because here come the results. In third place overall with 79 points is Wayne, ZS6ORB. In second place, just 1 point ahead on 80, is Keith, ZS6HI. And taking top spot, your QRP first leg PRO Pro Champion with 86 points is Brandon, ZS6LZ. Brandon also claims the title of QRP First Leg Phone Mode Pro. Well done. Now let's shift to the top chasers, those brave souls running QRO power, possibly because not figured out how to turn the power down yet. Hi. Second place QRP chaser is Andre, ZS1F, with 10 points, and your QRP first leg chaser Pro is Marius, ZS6MS, with 32 points. And of course, a salute to our CW operators. Third place is Ian, ZS1AI, with 8 points. Second place is Eddie, ZS6BNE, with 11 points. And your QRP first leg CW mode Pro is Mike, ZS6MSW, with 13 points. A huge congratulations to all our winners, and an even bigger thank you to you, everyone who took part, especially those who submitted the logbooks. Keep an eye on your inbox. Your certificates are on your way, and do not pack away those keys and mics just yet. The autumn leg of the QRP contest takes place on Saturday, the 4th of April, 2026, from 13:30 to 15 GC, right over the Easter weekend. Perfect timing for some holiday radio fun. So mark your calendars, charge those batteries, and join us again. The QRP contests are exciting, fast, friendly. They are waiting for you. Pico Balloon news. A brief update on South Africa's Pico balloons as of today, actually. ZS1AFB-1 is now in its second lap of the world and currently midway in the Indian Ocean on its way to Australia. The stats for him are altitude 12.4 kilometers, minus 21 degrees C, 26 days of flight, 55,000 kilometers covered, and a ground speed of 37 kilometers per hour. ZS6 SRC-32, after 58,000 kilometers and 1.5 laps of the world, appears to be missing in action. There has been no reception from this standard for over 7 days. Chat ZS6GC says ZS6 SRC-34 is ready for launching, just waiting for clear weather. ZS1ERZ-12 is currently in its 14th circumnavigation of the planet, and having reached Africa yesterday, is presently traveling north over Zambia. Its stats: altitude currently 13.4 kilometers, minus 37 degrees C, 168 days in flight, and 425,000 kilometers, with a ground speed of 33 kilometers per hour. We move to the propagation report. Hannes Kutsia ZS6BZP reports that the solar activity is expected to be at low levels during this week. There are currently 7 sunspot regions with simple magnetic configurations visible. There is a high probability for C-class and a low probability for M-class solar flares. If you want to do your own frequency predictions, the expected effective sunspot number for the week will be around 76. The 30 to 10 meter bands may provide some good DX fun. Please visit the website spaceweather.sansa.org.za for further information. And for those who missed the AWA broadcast yesterday, this was all about propagation. Very interesting talk presented by Chris, ZS6GM. So if you missed it, look up the recording. It was very good. Finally, a diary of some upcoming events. Today, the Antique Wireless Association CW Activity Day. 7th of February, the East Rand Boot Sale and SARL Hamnet Western Cape supports the 99er cycle tour in Durbanville. 8th of February, Hamsat SAZSQO-100 QSO party. The 11th of February, International Day of Women and Girls in Science. 13th of February, World Radio Day. 14th of February, Valentine's Day. 14th and 15th of February is the CQ WWWPX RITI contest, with the Sasselberg Amateur Radio Club supports the Ride for Sight cycle race. 16th of February, the May RAE registration opens. 17th of February, partial solar eclipse. 18th of February, the start of Ramadan, a tentative date, and the SARL Wednesday 80-meter club contest. 21 and 22 February, the ARRL International DXCW contest. This concludes our SARL Bulletin for this morning. You have listened to the news bulletin written by Andy Cairns, ZS6ADY, proofread by Paul Johnson, ZS1S, and read by Stuart, ZR1WT. Stay tuned for ZS6STN Club News. This is the Sandton Amateur Radio Club. Let's start with some birthdays of club members. Last week we had ZS6ESW, Erica Spencer Wilson, on the 26th of January. ZS6BM, Marius Brunt, 28th January. ZS6MDX, Mark Walker, on the 28th of January. ZS6PAT, Patrick Lowry, 29th of January. Coming up this week is ZR1WT, Stuart, 3rd of February. ZS6PLF, Pierre Flory, on the 4th of February. And ZS6AKI, Leslie Lamby, 4th of February. Congratulations, and hope you have a great day on your birthday. Best wishes to all. Right, we turn to anyone who would like to provide some club news. So if you're out there and you have some ZS6STN club news, please call in now. We are listening on 2 meters.
ZS6 Hotel India.
ZS6HI. Good morning, Keith. Please take a round.
Good morning, Stuart, and a hearty congratulations on your upcoming birthday. It's a little bit odd you having to announce your own birthday, but congratulations. Just to give you a little bit of feedback, the RAE is pumping at the moment. I think Gerard's arranging an HF assessment for the 21st of February, and there's classes happening on Tuesdays and Thursdays every week. So big thank you to all the lecturers and to Gerard and the HF assessors for all the arrangements that go into the RAE. I think there will also be an antenna build. There's discussion in terms of the antenna build and when that will all take place. So the RAE is pumping. Then just a few activities coming up specifically around the SARL contest calendar. On the 18th of February is the 80-meter club contest. So as we participated a couple of weeks ago in the 40-meter club contest, or a week or so ago, the 80-meter club contest is on the 18th of February. And do remember that we are going to award those who compete in 3 or more club contests throughout the year, a t-shirt and a cap. So get ready for that. Then there are some, if you have a look at the SARL contest calendar, there's a lot of activities on the go at the moment. But that the big one for March, the 14th and 15th March, is the SARL National Field Day. And as you know, this is where the Sandton Club goes out to Sleepy River Caravan Park in the Magaliesberg, and we set up camp and we settle in for the weekend, and we have some great radio fun. If you want to participate as part of the ZS6STN SARL National Field Day team, please do let us know via WhatsApp or one of our email addresses, and we will see you there. And I think you have announced the next Power Hour Tech Talk coming up on around the 28th of February, contesting and logging. So that will also be something really worthwhile listening into, specifically because I happen to know Philip ZS6 Fox Yankee is an avid radio ham, and he's actively involved in a lot of contesting and logging as well. And N1MM is a great contesting and logging program, and in fact the program that we use for National Field Day. So put that in your diary, and we will remind you to participate in the February Power Hour Tech Talk. And for those that don't know, the publications on the website, the YouTube website and our website, you can go there and you can get copies of the latest bulletins as well as the Power Hour Tech Talks. And it's also worth mentioning, just up in March, 21st of March, is the SARL 20-meter club contest. So that's another one to put in your diaries for now. That's all from me this morning, Stuart. ZS6STN and ZS6HI.
Oh, ZS6HI, ZS6STN. Thanks, Keith, for all those notes. Lots of things happening in the next few months. This is ZS6STN, and we're going to move to the special topic of interest. So Mark, ZS6AMF, suggested this topic, and he sent me 2 short YouTube videos, and the topic is, what is your wackiest antenna? Anyway, the YouTube videos he sent me is a guy called @HobbySteveTX, which is Kilojoule 5 Mike Quebec Echo, and his name is Steve Salter in Dallas, USA. And he was using a Zygu G90 and choosing various metal objects like dumpsters, gutters, and a statue, and made very long-distance QSOs with this. So I researched a bit further, and I found an article on www.eham.net. And this is a summary of a slightly unconventional journey into the world of strange, oddball, and experimentally delightful antennas. As engineers and tinkerers, we've all experimented with wire lengths, loading coils, and unorthodox supports. But sometimes the best stories and the best technical lessons come from antennas that shouldn't work, but somehow they do. Let's start with the barbed wire fence. A rural ham needed an emergency HF solution and had barbed barbed wire strung fence post for a few hundred meters. A balun was connected to one end, matched with a tuner, and the wire fence radiated surprisingly well. Grounded losses were substantial, but for inverse 80-meter work, it did the job. The lesson here, long conductors, even rusty and irregular, can work when coupled properly and matched to the rig. Next, magnetic loops, not exotic in themselves, but one particular build stood out, a 160-meter loop made from rigid copper refrigeration tubing with a variable vacuum capacitor salvaged from a military transmitter. This loop was barely 2 meters in diameter, yet it was able to handle the voltage on 160 meters without arcing. Efficiency, not stellar, perhaps 25%, but allowed for nighttime operation on top band with a downtown apartment block with extreme space constraints. This underscores a crucial point. Magnetic loops trade efficiency for size, but they give us operability, especially on bands like 80 and 160 meters, where full-size antennas are impractical. What about non-antenna antennas? These include rain gutters, lightning rod, HF pole, and even automobile roof racks. These are not jokes. Many have successfully loaded these structures with an LDG or an MFJ tuner and got decent contacts. Of course, there are trade-offs: unpredictable radiation patterns, high loss due to corrosion or dissimilar metals, and erratic SWR across bands. But for the hands in HOA environments, on business trips, the creativity here is inspiring. Even a rebar mat under a driveway was being used as a ground plane for a stealth vertical. What about a sloping window screen dipole? This consisted of two aluminium mesh screens placed in a V shape inside the third-story apartment window, fed with a 300 ohm twin lead. The result, respectable performance on 20 and 15 meters using a balanced tuner. The screening acted much like wire mesh radial and radiators. While efficiency was not ideal, the concept of using distributed conductors inside a confined dielectric environment is rich with experimental opportunity. When we talk about strange antennas, often what we really mean is electrically non-ideal. We violate assumptions of uniform conductors, proper current distribution, or radiation resistance. But radio amateurs have long known that with the right impedance transformation and tuning, RF will flow, and anything that can support a standing wave can, to some degree, radiate. A key concept that shows up repeatedly in these stories is reactive tuning. The idea is that a non-resonant or physically unusual conductor can be matched into a usable load. Here's where L networks, pi matching circuits, and modern automatic tuners shine. They allow us to tame reactance and present a 50 ohm load to the rig, even if the antenna looks more like a junkyard sculpture than a textbook dipole. Another technical insight is the importance of current distribution. Many strange antennas work not because they are resonant, but because they concentrate current in a segment that radiates effectively. For instance, short verticals with top loading use a capacitive hat or top whip, maximize current at the base where radiation resistance is highest. Similarly, off-center fed antennas, when matched correctly, can exhibit acceptable radiation patterns and power handling, even with skewed current nodes. It's also important to remember that many of those antennas operate in very near field, coupled to buildings, metal supports, to ground systems. So their presence is often tied closely to what's nearby. In that sense, they are not antennas in isolation, but part of a complex radiating system. For example, using a steel-framed apartment balcony as part of the radiator introduces all sorts of capacitive coupling and return paths that defy modeling. But if it gets you on the air, it's valid RF engineering in the amateur spirit. Before wrapping up, I want to highlight one more technical gem: transmission line antennas. One ham used a roll of RG58 coax, not connected to anything, just unrolled across the roof and fed it like a random wire. The coax shield acted as the radiator, and the internal dielectric added considerable capacitance. Matched with a tuner, this became a viable multi-band radiator. This is an interesting example of lossy distributed reactance systems that still yields results. It's also a cautionary tale. Coax cable radiates when not properly terminated. Something to think about when troubleshooting RFI. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks to everyone out there for listening, and we trust that you have enjoyed the bulletin today. Please feel free to give comments or any constructive criticism. Thank you to the stations that assisted with relays and broadcasting, to those who contribute to the content from time to time. Join us again next Sunday, 8:45 a.m. for the regular bulletin of the Sandton Amateur Radio Club. This ends the weekly club bulletin for the station Sandton Amateur Radio Club, ZS6STN, which was operated today from the shack of Stuart, ZR1WT. Thank you to all our listeners, and 73. ZS6STN now relinquishes all frequencies for general use.